Hey everyone, Simply Logical here, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, then thanks for joining me today for a long-awaited episode of Saguaro Sanctuary. In today's video, we will be creating this tropical oasis for a pair of tropical Australian birds, the Southern Cassowary. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and jump into the speed build. I'll catch you then. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. As I'm sure most of you have noticed, I have been absent for a couple of weeks, and I would just like to talk about that really quickly. So for the last couple of months or so, my husband and I have been working on moving. And so for the last 2-3-ish weeks, we have been looking for a place to move into, and also we were on vacation for Thanksgiving. So with that being said, we have now found a place to move. So we are hoping to be moved and everything in the beginning-ish of January. So I have started to go ahead and start recording and trying to get scheduled some videos for the whole month of January. So if I'm not really active in the comments or anything in January, that is why. But also that leads me to say that we have some really exciting things for January that I'm really excited about. We'll be starting a new zoo, and which means that we're almost done with finishing this zoo. We have 2 episodes left, well, 3 technically, only 2 habitats left to build for. And then we have the final zoo tour, which will be, I believe, the last week of December. And then the first week of January will be our new zoo that we will be starting in January. But anyways, on to the speed build itself. So as you saw in the beginning, I laid out the shell of the building that I am working with for these next 2 episodes. In this video, we are working on the cassowary side of things, but in next episode, we are working on the emu side of things. So the emus and the cassowaries are both in the same building, meaning their habitats are right next to each other. But that also gave me the opportunity to do something that I've never really, well, I've done it before, but not to this extent. If you recall the giraffe cafe that I posted for TVEP probably about a month or so ago now, that I did for Digital Blob's shell challenge that he had us do for the WWF Foundation fundraiser, you'll remember that I did a backstage walkthrough-ish portion. And I did something similar to that with the cassowary and the emu. And now that we are currently working on the foliage for this habitat, let me go ahead and tell you just a little bit about our cassowaries themselves. So we have a male and a female pair. The male, his name is Bindi, and he was accidentally hit by a car in Cairns, which, if you don't know, it's in the Daintree rainforest in Queensland. And he was brought to Saguaro Sanctuary for treatment and has since been fully recovered. Now, however, our female, her name is Sari, and she was attacked by a poacher and his dog. And Sari was able to escape with a gunshot wound, which needed immediate care, as you can imagine. But thankfully, a few good Samaritans found her and decided to bring her to Saguaro Sanctuary, where she has since been given the proper care and everything that she needs. And so now that both her and Bindi are 100% healthy, they have been put into the same enclosure, so that way hopefully they can try and breed and raise some new baby cassowaries that we can hopefully release back into the wild. Which, if you are new here, Saguaro Sanctuary's whole mission statement is to rescue and rehabilitate Australia's most precious wildlife, and if possible, release them back into the wild. However, with Sari and Bindi, the injuries that they acquired during their accidents, it takes them out of the running of being able to be released back into the wild. So that's a little bit about them. I will say that I did not come up with that all on my own. I had some much needed help from that Aussie bloke over on the Goonters Gaming Discord. I was lucky enough to be able to message him and say, hey, could you help me with a backstory for the cassowaries? And he gave me a couple different ideas, and I was like, thank you, I love those. And he was able to help me and everything, seeing as he is from Australia. But enough about that. Now let's go ahead and get into the backstage portion, which I was talking a little bit about earlier. So as you can see, I have sectioned off the guest area backstage from the staff backstage. So what I'm working on right now, if you watched the dingo habitat that I built a couple weeks ago, you will see this exact same layout, basically using the metal girders and the marquee beams and the mesh pieces to create windows into the backstage areas for the animals. However, in this case, I'm not using it for staff, I'm using it for the guests. So what I'm doing is because I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, I think I did, but I can't remember if I have or not. But the staff technically should not be in contact with the cassowaries, so I am blocking them off completely from the cassowary habitat itself. However, they can walk through and get a look into the cassowary's day-to-day backstage life. Same thing with the emu. They can continue this walkthrough from the cassowaries all the way through the emus and out the other side. Or vice versa, they can look at the emus first and out the cassowaries last. Just kind of depends on which way they travel through the zoo. But here, again, using the exact same technique as you saw me do with the blockage for the guests, I am now making a window and sliding door for the cassowaries themselves. And again, this is all basically a replica that I did from the dingo habitat, which I will leave linked right about now. So again, make sure you go and check those out if you haven't already. And now that we're about here, we have just a couple minutes left. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, but really quickly, I would like to ask that if you enjoyed this video, I would like to ask that you leave a like. If you choose to, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out and it helps the channel out greatly. And leave a comment of what you think I could have changed in this habitat, or what maybe I could do different next time I build a cassowary habitat, or what you enjoyed about this habitat. But anyways, I encourage you to do all three of those. But again, there's no pressure to do so. Just a thought. But yeah, that's really all I have for you today. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you here with the cinematics, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah!
Aha. You dopa!
Uh-huh.
Woohoo!